Welcome to the Family Geekery Podcast, a podcast for geeks from a family of geeks. We talk about comics, video games, and anything else geeky. I'm Danny.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Chris.
And today is another episode of Retro September.
Retro September. Just kind of rolls off your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
What are we talking about today?
Metroid.
NES classic. All these, I guess, are NES classics that we're talking about this month.
That's why you picked them.
That's right. But before we get into that,
Geeky Weeks.
Who wants to kick off the Geeky Weeks this week's?
I can, because I don't think I did too much. I watched The Secret World of Arietti. Wait, hold on.
She's fact-checking herself.
I got it right. Well, there's too many movies that are like, well, there's also like the Secret Life of Walter Mitty or whatever like that, you know? So I watched...
The Secret Life of Zach and Cody.
Yeah.
Secret Life of Pets.
That one, yeah. No, not that though. No, I watched the Ghibli movie, Secret World of Arietti, which, Danny, you might remember seeing advertisements for on Disney Channel all the time.
Maybe
not. Well, it was the people who did the dub were Bridget Mendler and David Henry as the two main characters. So it was one that I should have watched as a kid, but I didn't because I was lame. And so I had to go ahead and watch it, and it was really cute.
Nice.
Cool. All those are on Disney Plus now?
No, they're all on Max.
Max, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, based on the book The Borrowers, which is about little tiny people that live in people's houses and take their sugar and stuff.
I remember that book.
Yeah, I never read it, but that's what the movie's based on.
Huh. And there was a movie about the Borrowers not too long ago too, right? Well,
Probably.
when I say not too long ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. It was live action.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Been doing normal Amber stuff.
Very good. How about you, Danny?
Let's see. Played some Metroid.
Fun.
Still watching New Girl. I've been playing some Roblox.
Dress to Impress.
And I started a new one.
Oh.
It's called My Wife Left Me Tycoon.
What?
So my wife left me, and I have a bunch of her stuff, so I keep selling her stuff and buying upgrades, and eventually I'll be able to buy her back with my house upgrades. She'll want me back.
Why don't you just buy an upgraded wife?
That's not available.
Oh.
Danny, have you played any of the Roblox type games on Fortnite? Like, there's a bunch of tycoons on Fortnite.
No.
Roblox is probably better because you can do anything you want. Fortnite is Fortnite.
True. But other than that, not much.
Cool. I've been playing some Metroid also. But I also, let's see. After playing Dragon Warrior last week, I booted up Dragon Warrior 2 to see...
Overachiever.
Yeah, just to see how it was. And I haven't gotten to another person, but it's going to be multiple people in your party.
Oh.
You have to go find them. One is like the king's son who's off on a quest, but it's like his destiny to be in your party to do this thing. So I have to go find him somewhere. But it's more like it's the same type of combat, but you pick what you're fighting against because there's more than just one thing that you're fighting against. So it could be like 2 slimes and a slug or something, and you have to say attack the 2 slimes.
Gotcha.
So once you get multiple people, then you can have, multiple people fighting different things. So that's pretty cool. I haven't gotten too far with it. Like I said, I haven't even found the king's son yet. But grinding along in that. And then also, I downloaded a demo on Steam of Funko Fusion.
What?
Have you guys seen Funko Fusion?
No.
No?
So it's obviously made by Funko. And they have a bunch of licenses. And obviously, they have lots of licenses for their Funko Pops, but it's you play as Pops in different little miniature worlds that are all based on, all the different licenses. So
Hmm.
it's very similar to like Lego, insert name here, like Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars, where you're in a world, you have multiple characters to play or unlock in that world, and then you have to go and do something, whether it's rescue all the cats or whatever the quest is. So the demo, I guess their thought on the demo was, let's not give them the best license in the world. let's make them buy the game, the full game, to get the good licenses. And they've got some really good ones, Back to the Future and all kinds of different stuff. They're doing a cross promotion right now with KFC, where if you buy something at KFC, you get the Colonel skin, which is actually pretty cool. And then I guess the
Is that why there was KFC stuff in the fridge when I visited Mom?
it could be unrelated, but could be related. I may or may not have the Colonel skin.
Might have brought it up. Want some KFC today?
She said, "Look at this huge chicken breast. Do you want it?" And pulled out a KFC box. I said, "No, I'm leaving."
She's trying to give away her chicken.
Yeah.
But then also, I guess you will be able to buy certain pops that will come with a code that will unlock something in the game. So it's not like Disney Infinity, where you have to take the pop and touch it to the game to get that thing in there, but there will be, I don't know, skins or something that you can buy. But let's talk about the included demo world, the IP that they used.
What do you get?
It's called The Thing.
What is the world?
The Thing, yeah.
Okay. What is included?
Like Fantastic
in
Four?
Nope, not Fantastic Four. The Thing. It's a movie from the early 80s, like a sci-fi horror flick where there's something weird in Antarctica or something, and the scientists find it, and it's one of those basic scientists find something weird somewhere.
Like The Stuff.
You've never seen that, fake fan.
But so you can see how the target audience may not know anything about The Thing.
Yeah, why would they? I get it's a demo, but you'd think they'd put something at least people know.
Right.
To get them to play the demo and then buy the game.
Yeah.
But that's what you get. Now
Okay.
the full game itself looks like it'll be just more of that. And it was fun, but I don't know how fun it would be over time. Like I said,
it's a $50 game.
Yeah, it's 50 on Steam, right? 60 on console. So you're paying for a lot of IP. But like I said, it's kind of like the Lego game, where once you play it, you might get a little bored of it, but who knows?
No, I saw FNAF.
You're interested now?
$50.
And there's a velociraptor pushing a baby car. I'm watching the trailer right now.
Yeah, so I guess Universal is one of their biggest companies, so they have a lot of Universal IP. So I wonder if The Thing was a Universal movie, maybe from a long time ago.
You know what it's giving?
What's it giving?
It's giving that Toy Story 3 game.
Oh, Woody's Roundup?
No.
Whatever that was.
The like open world game. It's giving that.
When you say giving, are you implying it's a vibe?
Yeah.
So we can't even say vibe now. We just shorten it just to giving.
It's giving.
It's giving.
I'm glad that I'm here to learn this stuff from your generation. It's way too much work to say vibe. It's just a giving.
Yeah, it is.
Next week it'll be like, you know what it?
Yeah.
And we need to just stop the sentence right there. Like,
And that's when we all know how to read minds.
Oh, they
Yep.
have Walking Dead. I'm sold.
They have Umbrella Academy. They got FNAF.
Yeah, like I said, lots of good IP, and I'm sure they'll expand that over time. Probably DLC type action going on.
Mixed reviews on Steam.
Yeah. But that's that came out. And there was another game that's coming out soon that I wanted to get the demo. I forget what it is. But yeah, I'm
Nice.
gonna check that out. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing watching right now. Just playing lots of games. Including
Metroid.
Metroid.
Oh, segue.
So usually I get halfway through the segue and then Amber interrupts and says she remembers something else. So I'm giving her a little bit of air.
I really don't remember anything.
All right.
I think I had a boring week.
We'll get halfway into Metroid and then she'll pop it in there. All right, so let's talk about Metroid. So this is our second game. If you missed last week we talked about Dragon Warrior. We are going through 3 classic NES games from the late 80s in our Retro September. And just as a reminder, coming up is going to be Shocktoberfest, or whatever we're going to decide to call it.
That's right. I need to pick some movies.
Amber's going to pick some movies for us to watch of the horror genre all October.
Have we all seen the FNAF movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, didn't we have an episode on it?
Well, we had an episode on the games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it came out right around the movie.
Gotcha.
Go listen.
Episode 78.
Those are video games that I can play.
I think we had mixed results on those games.
Bringing it back to Metroid, a game that I cannot play.
So back to Metroid, week 2 of our Retro September. So Metroid itself released in 1987 in North America. It is a Nintendo first party. It was made by Nintendo R&D1, who is one of their kind of sub companies that makes games, and they put this together. It was produced by Gunpei Yokoi, who is famous as both a designer and a producer. He designed a lot of nifty Nintendo gadgets, like the Game Boy, most notably. He designed the Zapper and all kinds of things. He produced a lot of their classic games like Donkey Kong, the original Mario Brothers, all kinds of games. And so it dropped out in 1987. Now, last week I kind of put you guys into a frame of mind to know where this, where the game kind of sits in the history of games. So think about Nintendo and the mid to late 80s. You've got games like Super Mario Brothers that are, rocking. You've got games like Donkey Kong and the original Mario Brothers, all those types of platforming action type games. And they were all revolutionary at the time. Now think about before Super Mario Brothers, most games that you saw were all single screen, right? Like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Q*bert. So you just got one screen and you're doing something on that screen. So when Super Mario Brothers came around, it took them all kinds of nifty development voodoo to get that Nintendo console to have a side-scrolling game, right? So the map is really wide and you're running across the map. Now, I don't know when the last time you played Super Mario Brothers was, but in that game, you can't go backwards. Like once you go right, the screen you can go left on the map, on the screen, but you can't make the map go left.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So once you pass something up, you can't go back and get it. And that's obviously not the case nowadays, but that was the case then, and it was really revolutionary for them to even get that going. So then think about that, and then just within a couple years, they developed something like this that we just played, Metroid, where you've got almost like a complete open concept map that you can go anywhere you want to, provided you've got the skills and tools to do so. And so it was, they set out to make a action adventure game, and they wanted to focus on having skills and abilities or items that would help you go further. So the example they give is like in Super Mario Brothers, if you get the mushroom, you get bigger. If you get the star, you're invincible for a little bit. There's nothing that is required to go further. And there's nothing that is necessarily permanent to you, right? If you get hit by a Goomba or something, you lose your firepower, you lose your size or whatever. So and there's nothing that says that you need to get that mushroom to finish that level. It's just it's just a nicety. So this style of game that they created, which became known as Metroidvania, which is a portmanteau.
Toes.
So portmanteau for both Metroid and Castlevania. And Metroid itself is a portmanteau, so we got a double portmanteau going on. And that's the way Google said to pronounce it. So don't yell at me if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No, you're saying it right.
Okay.
You just said it funny.
Well, Google has a feature where you can
portmanteau.
Portmanteau. That's how us Americans say what's probably a French word.
Sounds French.
But it's a double portmanteau because Metroid itself is short for Metro and Android, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you learn what a Metroid is in the game. But anywho, so the Metroidvania genre is an action adventure or platformer focused on non-linearity and utility gated exploration and progression. So that's the definition of a Metroidvania. So knowing that now, you see that, hey, and I think I've got text from you guys saying, I've been everywhere I can. Well, you went everywhere you could, but if you get rockets and you can go through the red doors, if you get, this skill, then you can go here. If you get the high jump skill, then you can get up to something that you couldn't get up to before.
You can jump higher than you can normally?
Yeah, that's one of the skills.
Oh.
So it was kind of a revolutionary at the time, and it was highly successful. And the series itself has been highly successful over the years. The Metroid game itself was released also on Game Boy Advance, on Wii U, 3DS, Virtual Console.
Wait, the OG Metroid was on Wii?
Well, they do the Virtual Console, which is just like they re-release the originals that you can play it on the
I cannot imagine playing this with a Wii controller.
And then even on the Switch, through the Switch Online. And then on, those like retro consoles like the NES Classic or whatever it's called that has like 40 games on it. And then they also updated this game in 2004 for the GBA to a game called Metroid Zero Mission. And it's basically the same game, but updated graphics. And then some of the updated things that they've come up with over the years of the sequels and stuff, such as a mini map on the screen, the ability to crouch and shoot. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh
my goodness. Wait. See, I would like a crouch and shoot. Because whenever I tried, I just turned into a ball and then would just get run into.
I wish you could shoot down.
Yeah, so on this, I actually loaded up this game, and it tells you in the tutorial. Imagine that it's actually got a tutorial also.
Whoa!
Wait, this one has a tutorial.
When you pick up a skill, it actually tells you like you have to double tap down to become the ball. I'm like, double tap down? Why is that? Because when you single tap down, you crouch and you can shoot.
Wow.
So that, and then when you hit the start button to pause the game, it brings you to a full map of everything you've explored. And then there's map rooms that you can download maps that you haven't got to yet, rooms that you haven't got to yet. So they kind of made it a little bit easier to get into. Now, I think you guys noticed that this game just kind of drops you right in, right? And we'll talk about that in a
Yeah.
second. Let me finish up the little history lesson here. So lots of sequels, lots of remakes. The designer, or one of the designers, Yoshoi Sakamoto, said that he was hugely influenced by the 1979 film Alien.
Hmm.
So he
Makes
liked that,
sense.
and kind of put you into that kind of desperation, all alone out in space, trying to kill the bad things. And then the game is also notable for having its 5 endings, and the 5 endings are based on the time it takes you to complete it.
Oh, Lord.
So the faster you complete it, the better ending you get. And this became one of the first games to be a speed run game, and it's one of the favorite speed run games that they have out there.
I'm definitely not a speedrunner.
Me neither.
Yeah, I got the middle of the 5 endings, so
Pretty
it
good.
took me pretty long. But yeah, so that's kind of the history lesson on it. So let's talk about getting into the game. What did you guys think first booting it up and starting to explore around?
I think I died about 7 times in the first 30 seconds.
Speaking of dying, that's one of the things I like about the game is that it's not like you hit something you die. It's you hit something you lose energy. I really like that in games versus just like 3 hits and you're dead, or 3 hits
Yeah.
and the game's over.
For real.
So I like that system, energy system versus lives system.
Yeah.
I have Metroid Fusion on here.
Oh, okay. That's a DS game.
I guess so.
Okay. That one was pretty popular. But what about you, Amber? Getting into the game, first impression.
First impression was, wow, this is so cool. It looks awesome. And then I was like, wow, no, this is really hard. But I do like that there was like a health bar, but little guys do be doing so much damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one thing that annoyed me probably the most is that the like invincible frames or whatever, invulnerable frames were very, very short. So, and like everything does knock back. So there'd be times when I'm just running through and it's like bonk, 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 bonk. And it would like knock me between 2 people. And I'm like, but I just want to go through.
Right.
Like, why am I taking 50 damage? Because it's bonking me into something else like immediately.
So by invincible frames, you mean once you get hit, you're invincible for just a
Yeah.
split second. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's shorter than other games I've played.
What if I told you that there was a skill that you could unlock that made you invincible while you were jumping?
Oh my god.
And not only invincible, but it did damage to everything that you hit.
I should have played more. That sounds like it gets a lot easier when you get more skills.
So that skill is considered one of the best power-ups in the history of video games. It's called the screw attack. And as you jump, you spin, and you are invincible, and you do damage. You do, I think it's equal damage to a rocket.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So all the things that drop from the ceiling, you're just one hitting right through those things, just jumping through, which leads you to believe that there's going to be things harder as you get further. And yes, that is true. Things that are impervious to the screw attack, etc.
Hmm.
So you start off, no real instructions. You can go right one room or left one room, and if you go right, you can't go anywhere, right? You get kind of stuck in the next room because you need to have the ball, or what do they call it?
Oh yeah.
Orb.
Roly poly.
Yeah, they've got an actual name for it. Morph ball, the morph ball, which is common to all the games, of course.
You turn into Sonic.
And So you need to go over and get the morph ball. It doesn't really. I don't even think it tells you anything. It doesn't even tell you can push it down now, right?
No, it
Mm-mm.
just kind of blinks a couple of seconds, and then it's like, okay, you're done.
Yep. And then,
Go
but
over there.
you're stuck over there because you can't get back unless you can go underneath something. So I guess, and the instruction book that I gave you guys, it does actually list this stuff out. So this is another reason why back then you didn't have online tutorials, because that would take up too much of the cartridge. They just want to put game on the cartridge, and that's why they gave you a book that had instructions like push down for this, push B to fire your gun,
Makes
that kind of
sense.
stuff. Yeah. So you get your first power up like right away, and then you have to work your way through some rooms with bad guys. And what was the next power up you guys found from that?
Took me a long time to find the rockets,
Me too.
but that was the one I got next.
Same.
After a while, I started noticing that when there was going to be some kind of a power up somewhere, the room looked different. Like you got the overall theme of the area, whether it's the purple area or the green area or the red area. But then you'd go into a room that was kind of like sci-fi looking, like blue, looks like metal. And then as you progress through that room, usually at the end of it was some kind of a power up. I don't
Yep.
know if you guys noticed that.
Think so.
So the
I don't know.
rockets, you get the rockets, and again, if you don't read the instruction manual, you don't know you even have rockets because they show up on your inventory, but you don't know how to shoot them until you read the book. So you hit select to change your gun. And yes, I wasted a lot of rockets by forgetting that I hit select, but there is a visual indicator on your
Yeah,
gun that
you
it
turn
changes
Yeah.
blue.
colors.
I wasted a lot of rockets because my save state button uses select.
Me
So
too.
I would
Right.
Me
I would have
too.
to I would go back and I'm like, okay, time to shoot things, and I'd use a rocket. I'm like, oh man, time to go back. Gotta
Yeah.
remember to press select again.
That was my problem too.
So you get the rockets, and what are the rockets used for besides killing people,
They
killing
open the
monsters?
red doors,
Right. So the blue
which I
doors.
never did because I never found a red door after. Well, maybe I found one, but I don't think I ever went back to a red door after I got the rockets.
Really?
I don't know
I
if I
didn't
did
feel like
either.
backtracking.
So I didn't know that they opened the red doors.
That was like the first text he sent us.
Yeah. I sent you some tips.
I
Whether
read
you
them. I went back and read them too while I was playing.
so five rockets to open a red door, and those red doors, they stay open
Wait, it costs 5 rockets?
permanently after that. Yep.
Wow.
And some of the remakes, like the Zero mission I was playing, it's just one rocket to open it.
But here's the thing. So a lot of things like respawn and do stuff. If you only have like 4 rockets when you go to shoot a red door, does it cost 1 when you go back later? Or does it reset and cost 5 again?
I think it just costs one,
Okay.
because you may have to leave that room to go get a rocket, but usually they're in a room that you can farm something to have it drop a rocket for you. Seemed like
Okay.
whenever I was farming stuff, it would drop the opposite of what I needed.
So I guess that confirms I never did go back and open a red door because I didn't know it cost 5.
Okay.
I just kept moving forward.
So did you find any upgrades after the rockets?
Yes, I got 5 more rockets.
Oh yeah, me too.
Okay. Anything
And
else?
that's it.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
you finished the first level.
I went down the first elevator.
Oh me too.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get everything before you went down there.
No, because I didn't have the rockets.
So yeah, those rooms would be hard if you didn't have the rest of the upgrades from the first area.
I wish you had said
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, this game
Well,
is
I said
about
I went down the elevator. You said nice.
Yeah,
nice.
with
Yeah.
the bubble rooms.
Not what upgrades do you have? None.
Nice. You made it to the elevator also, Danny?
Yeah.
Which might be just to the right of the rockets.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
And it brings you
So-
down to the bubble place.
So yeah, so you don't need rockets to get there.
Nope.
It's starting to make sense now.
Why we
So,
struggled?
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I struggled before the rockets.
So neither one of you got an energy tank.
Mm-mm.
No. Oh, I remember you saying like something about your energy tank turns red, but or whatever.
It gives you a blue square.
Well, I have that. I had the blue square. So
Well, if
like
you
I
get
had
it,
2 full life bars.
okay. So you must have got at least one energy tank, unless it started you off. I forget if it starts you off. I thought it just started you off with 99.
I don't know.
No energy
Yeah,
tanks.
99 was my highest.
But it
But I think
resets so you can get 99 and then it goes over up to 99 again.
right. I think the max you can get is 6 energy tanks. So you can have 6 bars or 6 boxes plus your 99. So there are, I think, 2 energy tanks in that first level. And then there's also the ice gun.
Ice gun.
Yeah.
Ice King.
Freezes the enemies.
Like
Oh, that would have
May.
been nice with all the flying guys.
So the ice gun, it does less damage, but it freezes, and then if you hit them again, it unfreezes, and then freezes and unfreezes. So you can eventually just kill them by shooting
Is there
them.
like ammo?
Nope.
Oh.
So once your gun becomes ice gun, it's just ice gun then.
Oh.
So there's no switching between that and the regular gun.
Gotcha.
But it certainly helps. You can, especially for those things that spawn out of the ground or the things that are bouncing around the ceiling, you just shoot them. They will thaw out eventually, but you can usually get past them and off the screen before they thaw out.
So that's what you said when you said, oh, I just ran past them. You froze them and then ran past them.
Sometimes I just like
YOLO.
Brute force.
YOLO through. Yep. Which, if you have a couple of energy tanks, you can afford to do that too.
Right.
So then there's also a wave gun. And the wave gun, I think, is more powerful than the regular gun. It doesn't freeze things. So if you get the wave gun, the ice gun goes away, but then you can go back and get a different ice gun to get rid of the wave gun. So they kind of supersede each other. But the wave
Okay.
gun, I think the wave gun will shoot through walls or through barriers.
The regular gun does that.
The regular gun will stop at certain things.
But like the blocks that you can break, the regular gun breaks.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
mean, you
okay.
can shoot through walls to hit enemies on the other sides of things.
Oh.
Now, I completed the whole game without ever getting it because the ice gun is a lot more important at the end when you're fighting the Metroids.
Wait, I thought Samus was a Metroid.
That's where the portmanteau would make sense, but she is not.
Oh.
The Metroids are like floating. They look like jellyfish brain things, and
Okay.
they'll grab onto you and suck all your life out of you if you
Fun.
don't
For real.
if you don't kill them.
I learned that Samus was a girl halfway through.
How'd
Halfway
you
through.
learn?
Google.
Oh. I learned years ago. It's just like a Samus is a girl plot twist. Ha ha ha. Probably in like a YouTube video or something.
Yeah, when they were making the game, they kind of made the decision, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this thing inside the space chute ended up to be a female at the end? So they went with that. And depending on what of the 5 endings you get, that becomes apparent or not apparent. So the slowest ending, she's turned away from you in her spacesuit, and she has her head down in her hands like, you really messed up.
Oof.
The second one...
Wait, how does it measure time?
Yeah, complete time. Total time to complete the whole game. The second one, she keeps her helmet on. The third one, she takes her helmet off so you can see her long orangish hair. The fourth one, so the second fastest one, her helmet is off, her spacesuit is off, and she's got a leotard on.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Her zero suit.
and then the last one, she's got a bikini on.
Yeah, so
Birthday
I saw
suit.
that on Google because I wanted to double check that she had red hair because in your video, I couldn't tell if she had red hair or not. And then I'm like, look, I Google search Metroid reveal, go to images, and it's like bikini. I'm like, huh?
Right. So you see the
Why?
5 images. The hair color on the one that I got, the third one, is a little bit darker
Mm.
than the hair color when she doesn't have a suit on.
See, I know Samus from Smash, and
Uh,
so she's a blondie there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So okay, I had this thought while I was playing because I remembered Smash, and you can play as Samus in the Samus suit, or you can play as Zero Suit Samus. And so I was asking my friend, "Oh, does Zero Suit Samus mean she's wearing zero suits, or is the leotard called a zero suit?" That's my question. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm I'm just
What's your theory?
slightly disturbed being a middle-aged white male that that we came to the conclusion that I would reward somebody with a less clothed female by the faster they completed the game. So if you can imagine back in 1987, pre-internet, and all you have is like, hey, you're talking to your middle school kids, hey, I beat the game. Oh, did you get the bikini or did you get the leotard? And and then inevitably someone's going to say, well, I heard if you beat the game in 10 minutes, she's completely naked.
Oh my gosh.
But
I
I
don't
guess
understand that being part of the game, but
there
whatever.
there's a that was, I guess, a rumor, but it's been obviously dispelled that there is no ending, I guess, that ends in
dang
naked Samus.
it.
Thank goodness we had some morals back then. But it was, that's what kind of spurred the speed running aspect of it, is trying to
Oh
get
my gosh.
Bikini.
trying to find out what endings were possible, I guess.
Wow.
So
Well, was this
what?
like one of the first games that was like speedrun then?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
one of the first ones to make speed running kind of popular
that's
You
cool.
get a
and competitive.
reward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get to see a bikini.
yeah.
Pixel
Pix-
boobs.
Also notable for being one of the first games to have a female protagonist.
Epic.
Yep. Let's see. Since you guys didn't get any other upgrades, I'll go through a couple real quick. We talked about the double jump, or not the double jump, but the higher jump.
But you can already jump like the entire height of the screen.
Yeah, but there become screens that you can't jump high enough to get to the next thing.
Oh,
And
jeez.
it's cool that they give you some options. Like if you have the high jump boots, you can jump high enough to get up to whatever it is that you need to get to. If you don't, but if you have the freeze gun, you can freeze one of the little things flying above you, jump on them, and then jump up higher.
I tried to
Goated.
So,
jump on one of those and it hurt me, and I was like, oh, never mind then.
well, luckily they don't hurt you if they're frozen.
That's good.
So it's kind of neat how not only is the game nonlinear, but how you can beat it and how you can progress is also nonlinear.
Hmm.
Let's see. So you got the jumps, you got the screw attack, which I talked about, which becomes very epic. You got the freeze gun, which is very important. Um, what else was there?
Oh, quick question.
Sure.
So there are just some rooms where there's nothing on the end of the other side
Hmm.
Eventually, yeah.
because it was like a really long, really hard room, and I'm working my way over there. I'm dodging the things flying from the ceiling. I'm shooting the walls and jumping in between the walls and stuff. And it's like, oh, you get to the end and it's just bubbles. And then
Wall.
and I'm like, huh? Can I like is there like secret crouch, secret jump area? No. And you're like, "Oh, sometimes you can just shoot it." And I'm like, "Okay, let me try." And it didn't it shot when I shot a rocket at the wall, it killed one pixel like four things in. one little block for like 4 things in. And I'm like, what's
Okay.
that gonna do?
Well, that was a hidden passage then.
But I only had one rocket. What does it take multiple rockets?
Actually, it doesn't take rockets. Your regular gun should have been able to do that. But what it does take is bombs. Did you get
What's a
bombs?
bomb?
So bombs, another upgrade I guess we didn't talk about.
No, I thought by bombs you meant rockets.
No, when you're in ball form,
You
if you
drop
have
balls.
bombs, yeah, you hit your fire button and it drops a bomb, and 2 seconds later it explodes. So you can either think about the creatures on the ground that you can't shoot because you can't crouch shoot. You can
Mm-hmm.
drop one of those, roll away from it, and it'll blow it up. So think about the vertical shafts where you have the monster that's going just in a circle around the platform. It's
Yeah.
just doing a square pattern. You just drop on there, drop a bomb, move over to the right a little bit, boom, he's dead. But the bombs can also be used to blow up floor tiles. So like second or third room you go into has like floor things that you can blow up, but you can't get there until you get the bombs. So you have to go all the way back to the beginning to get to that area, which is where you drop down to go to one of the hideouts, which we'll talk about in a second.
So
So,
also bubbles in the ceiling could have been secret passages, or no? Or
so
those just
there was some walls in the ceilings that you could shoot, and they would disappear, and then you'd have to jump up into them.
with your big jump.
So there's a couple different ways to get into hidden areas that you guys probably didn't find yet. So one is called, I think it's called bomb jumping or something. So you drop into ball form, you drop a bomb. If you just stay there, it blows up. It doesn't damage you, but it knocks you up a little bit while you're still in ball form. So that passage that you found that you could blow up a brick halfway down through it, there's a tunnel there. You just can't get to it by jumping into it. You have to jump into it as a ball, but you can't jump as a ball. So you have to drop down to a ball, drop a bomb. When it explodes, you push up against the wall, and then you roll into there. And then once you roll
What?
in there, you roll all the way against the next wall because there'll be like a wall every 4 squares. Drop a bomb, blow it up, roll to the left, drop a bomb, keep on going, roll, and you'll end up in a new area. So that's
Can
one way.
you beat the game without going into any of the secret areas?
No.
Then why? Why is that a thing? That doesn't sound very smart.
Well, I'll address that. Let me explain one
Okay.
more
Okay.
one more
Okay.
trick way of getting to things. So if you shoot a wall, it respawns, right?
Yes.
So shoot a wall above you, or shoot 3 walls above you. Wait like 2.5 seconds.
And then you
Jump
can
up.
jump up, have
They
them respawn below
respawn.
you.
Yep. And then you just keep on jumping up, jumping up, jumping up. They will damage you a little bit if they're respawning on top of you, but that's the way that you can wall jump, I guess, up into new areas also.
Interesting.
So back to your question.
Yeah.
Like, how can I beat the game if I don't know about these hidden areas? This is why you would buy a game for $40 and play it for months and keep on exploring. And then your friend at school says, "Hey, did you go into the room that you can do this and this and this?" And then that gets you a little bit further. So I read a guy, I think it was in Reddit, at the Metroid Reddit, because I ended up there somehow. It was like you always do. And he said, "Man, I love that game. Our family rented it when I was young, and we kept it for 2 months." So remember back when you could rent games from Blockbuster, of course, right?
Yeah.
So even before Blockbuster, it'd be just like Penguin Video or something like that down the street from you. So you'd rent a game, and I think we used to play because I'd get one. I'd sleep over at a friend's house. We'd go down to the place and pay $2, I think, for a night, or $3 for 2 nights. So think about having that thing $2 a night for 60 days. They paid $120 for a game they could have just went to the store and bought for $40, but there is that mentality of, well, I'm almost there, so I don't want to buy it now because then I'd have to buy $40. I've already spent $30 on it. So, I mean, these type of games, they would take that long. Now, I am not ashamed to say that I used maps online, to complete this game.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, I tried. I could not decipher
No, I
anything.
told you guys to do it. I mean, if I wanted to beat the game in the week, and I wasn't going to do that if I had to get out graph paper and start drawing maps, because that's what we do back in the old days. We'd get
Nice.
graph paper out and we'd draw maps out and write notes and end up with a whole notebook for a silly game.
Wow.
I used to do stuff like that for Movie Star Planet.
What?
For all the quests, you had to write down the quests.
So there were overall, I'll kind of summarize up the rest of the game that you didn't see. Overall, there's, I think, 3 main areas.
Like
So
the elevators.
3 worlds. Yep. They all spur off of the one that you start at. So you got the elevator into, I think you went down to like the reddish, like the bubble one,
Yeah.
and then there's another one that you can take an elevator to. But you always have to go back to the original world because you found something down there that will get you further in the next one. And then there's 2 hideouts. So there's 2 mini bosses, and you don't have to fight them in the order that they present themselves to you. So like right after you finish the first world and go down the elevator to the second world, once you finish the second world, I think you're supposed to go and fight the mini boss at that point, because now you can get to the area where you can bomb those first little things in the first room and get below you. But you don't have to, because it's easier if you finish the third world and get the freeze gun. Then it gets a little bit easier. So I did all 3 worlds, and then I went to the first mini boss. And getting to the mini boss is probably just as challenging as fighting the mini boss, because you just walk up to him and you just fill him full of rockets. And then I went to the second mini boss, and then after you kill the 2 mini bosses, you go back to one of the rooms that you found in the very first area that had statues of the 2 mini bosses, but now they're glowing. And once the statues are glowing, if you shoot them, it makes a bridge show up that wasn't there before. And you can
Wow.
go into the final area, which is where the mother brain is. And the mother brain is the final boss that you have to beat. Now, getting to the mother brain is probably the hardest part of the whole game. But if you take it slow and keep on farming to regenerate, you can get to where she is, because she's got like 5 regenerating doors blocking you,
Oh.
and you have to like shoot them real fast or they'll regenerate with rockets. You have to shoot them with the rockets, but at the same time there's like laser turrets and enemies that are all hitting you at the same time. So they're knocking you off the platform that helps you shoot the doors. So I had to go for the 5 doors, I had to keep on going back out, farming, and then going back in. And then when you get to Mother Brain, you just fill her full of rockets too. And I think I had 5 energy tanks full. And I ended up on my last energy tank about halfway dead when I finally beat the Mother Brain. So you beat Mother Brain. It says self-destruct sequence. This place is going to blow up in 500 seconds.
Whoa.
So you have to escape out of the place in 500 seconds.
With all the enemies?
No enemies left. It's just a hard
Just parkour.
Yep, to get out. And 500 seconds is plenty of time. It probably took me less than 100 to get up there. And they're not seconds. It's counting down pretty quickly. It's probably 2 or 3 ticks per second. But I got out, and then you get the ending. But I saved before, right after I killed the Mother Brain thing, so I could see what happens if you wait all 500 seconds. And
What happens?
It says game over.
Oh.
You lose. So I'm pretty happy that and this is one of those games that I played a lot growing up but never beat. So I'm pretty happy that thanks to the internet and maps and tips, I was able to get all the way through it. Spent most of my lazy Sunday doing so. But let's talk about what you guys think overall. Now, I know you had a rough go at the beginning, but did you eventually start to appreciate the game?
Well, a lot of what I was getting mad at was user error because my device has many buttons on it. So I would be jumping when I wanted to shoot because I had two jump buttons and two shoot buttons,
Me
and
too.
then shooting when I wanted to jump. And uh and then the whole like I was just getting so confused with the save states and pressing the wrong thing, saving over something that I didn't want to save,
Yeah.
or like
Mm.
going back after I made progress and wanting to save.
Mhm.
So, because like it was pretty fast paced, so so I just made a lot of mistakes with that, which really wrecked my mental. Um, so I don't know. I feel like if I give it another go and look at some like online things, knowing what I need to do what.
Yeah.
There are definitely I can think of two or three. Now there's hidden passages, right? I told you just to shoot every wall
Yeah.
and bomb all kinds of stuff, not knowing that you didn't know what bomb meant at the time. Uh, but there are like two or three places that I would have just it would have taken forever to find if I didn't know where it was. You know,
Yeah.
shooting a random brick on the ceiling. That's just not, and then having to make sure that the right type of enemy spawns so you can freeze it and jump up on it to get up into that thing.
Yeah.
That would have taken, ages to figure out. Bombing the ground, that's not too bad. You don't run out of bombs. You have
Bombs are
unlimited.
infinite.
So
Nice.
you can only do 3 at a time, but you can just roll through everything and find, because there's some hidden things that, some bricks look like they'll break if you bomb them. Some just don't. They look like the rest of everything else, but they will break. There was one room that was really cool. Well, there's also lava that if you fall into, you get hurt. Well,
I liked watching myself fall into the lava
there's
and
one
just go
lava
back.
that's fake. So there's one room that has
Whoa.
fake lava, and you just drop through it, and that's how you get to the next section.
That's interesting.
And then there's one room that you get, that you fight your way to the end of a long hallway, like you were talking about, and there's an energy tank at the end, and it's just sitting there on the ground. So you run right up to it, but you fall through the floor and you can't ever get to it. So you have to know to jump before you get to it to
Oh.
avoid, because there's like two or three bricks in a row that are just ghosted. So you'll fall right
Weird.
through them. So I think that's really good design, that it's like an oasis. You run right to it and
What happens if
never.
you drop through? It's just a different section.
Yeah, you go to an area that you can't get back up for a very long time.
Wow.
So yeah, excellent level design. What about you, Danny? First impressions or overall impressions?
First, I was just frustrated because I played for a good hour or two and still didn't find any rockets. And then I watched a walkthrough, and he did it in about 5 minutes.
Right.
And
It's a little different when you know where the stuff is and which way to go.
like I was bad at fighting like all the flying monsters, and then the walkthroughs, like he's like dodging them left and right, knowing all their moves and whatever.
Yeah.
But after I watched the walkthrough, I kind of knew what I was doing then.
It's definitely one of those games that the more you play, and that's by design, right? You play, you die, you learn. You play, you get a little bit further, you die, you learn. You start to memorize the patterns of the enemies and memorize their weaknesses and stuff. So it's one of those games that is designed to take you months to finish through trial and error. But obviously, with foresight or aftersight, it's a heck of a lot easier. I wouldn't say it was easy, even with the maps. It's still a very confusing area that everything starts to look the same. Even in the long vertical shafts, like the patterns of platforms repeat themselves.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, is this the blue door I'm supposed to go through, or is it the next blue door up I'm supposed to go through? And then you go through the blue door, and the beginning of that level looks just like the other one, so you don't know if you're in the right
Yeah.
blue door or not. So it is confusing. Even with a map, you can get lost easily.
Yeah.
But
Can you save the game without save states?
so the save before they had batteries built into cartridges to save, like if you play like a Zelda game and it says what save slot do you want to be in, 1, 2, or 3,
Yeah.
it used a password system. So I don't know how many letters. It's a bunch of letters, like 24 letters or something like that you have to type in, just random letters.
Oh, like when I was playing that Apple game or whatever, Mrs. Potato.
Mrs. Potato.
Where you put up the like old game system on the TV, and I was scrolling through. There was like a Kirby game, and then there was like the Mrs. Potato or
Oh,
Little Miss Potato, Find the Potato Princess or whatever it was. And I would
yeah.
save the game, and I would have take a picture of it.
Yep. So
Okay.
back then you would have to, you get to a stopping point. You'd have to, or it would be when you died in this game.
Oh.
If you died, it would give you this random long password that you'd have to write down. And then if you turned off the machine and turned it back on, you'd have to type all that back in, and it would bring you back to where you were.
With like full HP and full missiles? Or
Wherever you were, because if you die, it respawns you back at the beginning, but you do have whatever abilities you unlocked. So if you unlock the
so
ball
you show up right at the top, right when you
at the
spawn
beginning.
in. Okay.
Yep. So you're not gonna save the game and restart it back in the third level of something.
Right, okay.
That's why I said learn how to use those save states, because it'll make this process a whole lot easier than dying on purpose to get to the save thing. But yeah, classic game. I hope you guys got some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other thoughts on Metroid before we close out this episode?
No.
I don't think so.
All right. So I do encourage you guys to play a little bit more on that.
We'll see. Maybe I'll
See,
try to get the bombs.
Try to get the bombs. They make your life easier. But yeah, so let us know if you played the game, if you've ever played Metroid. Send us an email, podcast@familygeekery.com. Next week, we're going to finish out Retro September with what game, Amber?
DuckTales.
DuckTales. So another action platformer game, but not as mazy as
Nice.
Metroid, but probably just as challenging.
Yippee.
You guys didn't have any tycoon games back then?
I would say that Dragon Warrior was a little bit more tycoon-y.
True.
That was just grind simulator. Yeah, no, my wife just left me tycoon simulator.
Not yet.
Not yet. But cool. I think that's going to wrap this one up. I had fun. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned next week for us to play the next game. We're going to wrap this one up by saying thank you as always for listening. Check out our socials. Check out the YouTube channel. See what's going on there. And as always, until next time, how do I end this thing? I've only done it like a million times. Thanks as always for listening. Until next time.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
And geek
And geek
out.
out. Thank you for listening to the Family Geekery podcast. For more information, visit www.familygeekery.com. Don't forget to subscribe at your favorite podcast provider. And until next time, peace out and geek out.